So for me, that came after that sad experience. I went and saw just a really, really expensive, a very experienced psychologist who also did exposure, but had so much more experience. It was literally, the opposite kind of person that I could have found from this exposure therapist, who was so young and just so focused on just one method of fixing anxiety. So I went to this other person, and she, had all this background, and she just, like I said, nuance, and she again tried EMDR with me, and she was willing to do exposure as well, but she wanted to kind of get there in a more natural way and get me ready for it. So she was really great, and at that time I finally read Brainlock, the book by I forget who, Jeffrey Schwartz, I think, and it was, it describes so many different people with OCD, and none of those things I have, but the way that each person, each case that he talked about, the way that those people interacted with the world and themselves and their thoughts just resonated so much with me. Like, it just made so much sense. The idea of a sticky mind, that I finally identified as having OCD. And so from there, I think that's the book where his motto is, he tells his clients, like his patients, to say, it's not me, it's my OCD, to recognize that you're having this thought or this fear, this worry that just will not go out of your head, and to say, that's not me, that's OCD. Like, that's not what everybody thinks, and that's not what I have to think for the rest of my life. That's OCD. And that was such a revelation when I read that book. It just felt really good. I think I was just like, listening to it in my car on my commute and just crying like every day. Just felt like it really spoke to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What happened from there?
So from there, I finally realized I OCD. I went to I think I read a couple more books. I finally realized that there are certain behaviors that you do that make it worse. I was reassurance seeking for all my life. I've been reassurance seeking. I had no idea that is a no-no. I had no, and now I can absolutely see how it never helped me. It always made me feel worse. I could never get enough reassurance, whether it was from, checking temperatures or just asking my mom or my loved ones, my husband, is everything going to be okay? Like, none of them could give me an answer, or if they did, I knew they were lying. So that's just one example, but
and that's what your OCD told you?
What? Or that they're lying?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell. Like, I could tell that my husband was just trying to make me stop crying, and so he'd say, "Yeah, everything's going to be okay." And then I realized, because I know he's not a psychic, that he can't predict the future, and he doesn't know that everything's going to be okay. And that's the whole point.
Exactly.
So what was I going to say? From there, I went to the OCD conference, where I heard about you, and then COVID happened. So I wasn't able to continue EMDR. Because while a lot of therapists went to online work, that particular therapy wasn't doable over the phone. Over the computer. And but it was kind of a relief, because that was a lot of money, and I thought, this might not be the most urgent thing that I need to do. I think the most urgent thing I need to do is to dig down deep into this, I guess, cognitive behavior, or whatever it is, and my behaviors. I need to stop checking.
And the beliefs that maintain them. So it's about your behavior, but it's also about the beliefs that maintain that behavior.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. Do you want to say a little bit more about where you're at right now?
Right now, and so I just found Huddle. I mean, I just finally signed up for Huddle. Um, and I know that I think one of the good things about it is that it will keep me accountable. Um, I feel somewhat bad about myself because I know that I'm not doing the best I can. I'm not doing my exposures. Um, but I think I will be ready to soon.